Oh my gosh, I totally got distracted and didn't pull up my Bible or nothing because I got like 6,587 messages about GLP-1s, and I'm just going through and responding to them all, and I was sitting here reading this long one, and I got super distracted. Sorry. Everybody wants info. Oh, Elizabeth. Oh, Elizabeth. Oh, I'm so sorry. We will be praying for her. Yes. Pam, how was your appointment? I just finished a hot flash, so now I'm chilly. Oh my word. I got my hair did. I got a whole bunch cut off. I got about that much, about 7 inches cut off, and it feels so much better. It's thicker at the bottom. It's not all frazzled. It feels good. She said to me, now listen, don't wait so long to come in here, okay? Please. Can we just keep this trim so it can grow out healthy and not look like that again? Hi, Sebastian. Good morning. I think Sebastian is finally over his cold. He's not sneezing as much, aren't you? Now he has to go in for his surgical consult next week. All right, Bessie, we're going to read now, okay? We're going to read now. You can stop the squeaking of the coffee mug. All right, March 13th. Moses forbidden to enter the land. Deuteronomy 3:21 through 29. At that time, I gave Joshua this charge. My lights off. I can't see. At that time, I gave Joshua this charge. You have seen for yourself everything the Lord your God has done to these 2 kings. He will do the same to all the kingdoms on the west side of the Jordan. Do not be afraid of the nations there, for the Lord your God will fight for you. At that time, I pleaded with the Lord and said, O sovereign Lord, you have only begun to show your greatness and strength of your hand to me, your servant. Is there any God in heaven or on earth who can perform such great and mighty deeds as you do? Please let me cross the Jordan to see the wonderful land on the other side, the beautiful hill country and the Lebanon mountains. But the Lord was angry with me because of you, and he would not listen to me. That's enough, he declared. Speak of it no more, but go up to Pisgah Peak and look over the land in every direction. Take a good look, but you may not cross the Jordan River. Instead, commission Joshua and encourage and strengthen him, for he will lead the people across the Jordan. He will give them all the land you now see before you as their possession. So we stayed in the valley near Beth Peor. Wouldn't that be hard? Wouldn't that be so hard after leading the people through the wilderness for 40 years to be told you can't go? That must have been hard for Moses to come to terms with. Moses urges Israel to obey. Deuteronomy 4:1 through 14. And now, Israel, listen carefully to these decrees and regulations that I am about to teach you. Obey them so that you may live, so you may enter and occupy the land that the Lord, the God of your ancestors, is giving you. Just obey the commands of the Lord your God that I am giving you. You saw for yourself what the Lord did to you at Baal Peor. There the Lord your God destroyed everyone who had worshipped Baal, the god of Peor. But all of you who were faithful to the Lord your God are still alive today, every one of you. Look, I now teach you these decrees and regulations just as the Lord my God commanded me, so that you may obey them in the land you are about to enter and occupy. Obey them completely, and you will display your wisdom and intelligence among the surrounding nations. When they hear all these decrees, they will exclaim, how wise and prudent are the people of this great nation. For what great nation has a God as near to them as the Lord our God is near to us whenever we call on him? And what great nation has decrees and regulations as righteous and fair as the body of instruction that I am giving you today? But watch out. Be careful never to forget what you yourself have seen. Do not let these memories escape from your mind as long as you live, and be sure to pass them on to your children and grandchildren. Never forget the day when you stood before the Lord your God at Mount Sinai, where he told me, summon the people before me, and I will personally instruct them. Then they will learn to fear me as long as they live, and they will teach their children to fear me also. You came near and stood at the foot of the mountain. While flames from the mountain shot into the sky, the mountain was shrouded in black clouds and deep darkness. And the Lord spoke to you from the heart of the fire. You heard the sound of his words, but didn't see his form. There was only a voice. He proclaimed his covenant, the 10 Commandments, which he commanded you to keep and which he wrote on 2 stone tablets. It was at that time that the Lord commanded me to teach you his decrees and regulations so you would obey them in the land you are about to occupy. A warning against idolatry, Deuteronomy 4:15 through 31. But be careful. You did not see the Lord's form on the day he spoke to you from the heart of the fire at Mount Sinai. So do not corrupt yourselves by making an idol in any form, whether a man or a woman, an animal on the ground or a bird in the sky, a small animal that scurries along the ground, or a fish in the deepest sea. And when you look up into the sky and see the sun, the moon, the stars, all the forces of heaven, don't be seduced into worshiping them. The Lord your God gave them to all the people of earth. Remember that the Lord rescued you from the iron smelting furnace of Egypt in order to make you his very own people and his special possession, which is what you are today. But the Lord was angry with me because of you. He vowed that I would not cross the Jordan River into the good land that the Lord your God is giving you as your special possession. You will cross the Jordan to occupy the land, but I will not. Instead, I will die here on the east side of the river. So be careful not to break the covenant the Lord your God has made with you. Do not make idols of any shape or form, for the Lord your God has forbidden this. The Lord your God is a devouring fire. He is a jealous God. In the future, when you have children and grandchildren and have lived in the land a long time, do not corrupt yourselves by making idols of any kind. This is evil in the sight of the Lord your God and will arouse his anger. Today I call on heaven and earth as witnesses against you. If you break my covenant, you will quickly disappear from the land you are crossing the Jordan to occupy. You will live there only a short time, and then you will be utterly destroyed. For the Lord will scatter you among the nations, where only a few of you will survive. There, in a foreign land, you will worship idols made from wood and stone, gods that neither see nor hear nor eat or smell. But from there you will search again the Lord your God. You will search again for the Lord your God, and if you search for him with all of your heart and soul, you will find him. In the distant future, when you are suffering all these things, you will finally return to the Lord your God and listen to what he tells you. For the Lord your God is a merciful God. He will not abandon you or destroy you or forget the solemn covenant he made with your ancestors. I think that's so beautiful. Everything they've done to defy him up until now, he's still giving them the land. They're going to go into the land. They're going to build their idols and defy him yet again. The Lord already knows it's going to happen. He already knows because he's sovereign. He knows all, and he already knows that's going to happen. And yet he's still giving them the land. And Moses says, you're going to do this. And when you fall away and you follow your idols, you can still come back because God is merciful. He already knows what they're going to do, and yet he's already saying, I will accept you back and love you anyway because he's merciful. That's pretty beautiful. There is only one God, Deuteronomy. There's only one God, Deuteronomy 4:32 through 40. Now search all of history from the time God created people on earth until now, and search from one end of the heavens to the other. Has anything as great as this ever been seen or heard before? Has any nation ever heard the voice of God speaking from the fire as you did and survived? Has any other God dared to take the nation for himself out of another nation by means of trials, miraculous signs, wonders, war, a strong hand, a powerful arm, and terrifying acts? Yet that is what the Lord your God did for you in Egypt, right before your eyes. He showed you these things so you would know that the Lord is God and there is no other. He let you hear his voice from heaven so he could instruct you. He let you see his great fire here on earth so he could speak to you from it. Because he loved your ancestors, he chose to bless their descendants, and he personally brought you out of Egypt with a great display of power. He drove out nations far greater than you so he could bring you in and give you their land as your special possession, as it is today. So remember this and keep it firmly in mind. The Lord is God, both in heaven and on earth, and there is no other. If you obey all the decrees and commands I am giving you today, all will be well with you and your children. I am giving you these instructions so you will enjoy a long life in the land the Lord your God is giving you for all time. Eastern cities of refuge. Deuteronomy 4:1, Deuteronomy 4:41 through 43. Then Moses set apart the 3 cities of refuge east of the Jordan River. Anyone who killed another person unintentionally without previous hostility could flee there to live safely. These were the cities: Bezer on the wilderness plateau from the tribe of Reuben, Ramoth and Gilead for the tribe of Gad, Golan and Bashan for the tribe of Manasseh. Introductions to the law, Deuteronomy 4:44 through 49. This is the body of instruction that Moses presented to the Israelites. These are the laws, decrees, and regulations Moses gave to the people of Israel when they left Egypt, as they camped in the valley near Beth Peor, east of the Jordan River. This land was formerly occupied by the Amorites under King Sihon, who ruled from Heshbon. But Moses and the Israelites destroyed him and his people when he came up from Egypt. Israel took possession of the land and that of King Og of Bashan, the 2 Amorite kings east of the Jordan. So Israel conquered the entire area from Aroer at the edge of the Arnon Gorge all the way to Mount Sirion, also called Mount Hermon. And they conquered the eastern bank of the Jordan River as far south as the Dead Sea, below the slopes of Pisgah. The 10 Commandments, Deuteronomy 5:1 through 33. Moses called all the people of Israel together and said, "Listen carefully, Israel, hear the decrees and regulations I am giving you today, so you may learn them and obey them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us at Mount Sinai. The Lord did not make this covenant with our ancestors, but with all of us who are alive today. At the mountain, the Lord spoke to you face to face from the heart of the fire. I stood as an intermediary between you and the Lord, but for you were afraid of the fire and did not want to approach the mountain. He spoke to me, and I passed his words on to you. This is what he said: I am the Lord your God, who rescued you from the land of Egypt, that place of your slavery. You must not have any other God before me. You must not make for yourself an idol of any kind, or an image of anything in the heavens or on the earth or in the sea. You must not bow to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God who will not tolerate your affection for any other gods. I lay the sins of the parents upon their children. The entire family is affected, even children in the 3rd and 4th generations of those who reject me. But I lavish unfailing love for 1,000 generations on those who love me and obey my commands. You must not misuse the name of the Lord your God. The Lord will not let you go unpunished if you misuse his name. Observe the Sabbath day and keep it holy, as the Lord your God has commanded you. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath day of rest dedicated to the Lord your God. On that day, no one in your household may do any work. This includes you, your sons and your daughters, your male and female servants, your oxen and donkeys and other livestock, and any foreigners living among you. All your male and female servants must rest as you do. Remember that you were once slaves in Egypt, but the Lord your God brought you out with his strong hand and powerful arm. That is why the Lord your God has commanded you to rest on the Sabbath day. Honor your father and mother as the Lord your God commanded you. Then you will live a long, full life in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You must not murder. You must not commit adultery. You must not steal. You must not testify falsely against your neighbor. You must not covet your neighbor's wife. You must not covet your neighbor's house or land or male or female servant or ox or donkey or anything else that belongs to your neighbor. The Lord spoke these words to all of you assembled here at the foot of the mountain. He spoke with a loud voice from the heart of the fire, surrounded by clouds and deep darkness. This was all he said at that time, and he wrote his words on 2 stone tablets and gave them to me. But when you heard the voice from the heart of the darkness, while the mountain was blazing with fire, all your tribal leaders and elders came to me. They said, "Look, the Lord our God has shown us his glory and greatness, and we have heard his voice from the heart of the fire. Today we have seen that God can speak to us humans, and yet we live. But now, why should we risk death again? If the Lord our God speaks to us again, we will certainly die, and be consumed by this fire. Can any living thing hear the voice of the living God from the heart of the fire as we did, and yet survive? Go yourselves and listen to what the Lord our God says. Then come and tell us everything he tells you, and we will listen and obey." The Lord heard the request you made to me, and he said, "I have heard what the people said to you, and they are right. Oh, that they would have Oh, that they would always have hearts like this, that they might fear me and obey all my commands. If they did, they and all their descendants would prosper forever. Go and tell them, return to your tents. But you stand here with me so I can give you all my commands, decrees, and regulations. You must teach them to the people so they can obey them in the land I am giving them as their special possession. So Moses told the people, you must be careful to obey all the commands of the Lord your God, following his instructions in every detail. Stay on the path that the Lord your God has commanded you to follow. Then you will live long and prosperous lives in the land you are about to enter and occupy. Hi, Sebastian. Yes. Hi, I see you. I see you, buddy, with your Duncan toy. All right. We are on page 88 of Believe Jesus Loves You. The poem is titled, Jesus is the Reason. You are the reason that I live today. You are the reason that I sing this way. You were there in the darkest of hours. You were there even when there were no prayers. You are the reason that I live today. You are the reason that I sing this way. I knew it was you, Lord, a prophet foretold. You sent down your word to renew my soul. You are the reason that I live today. You are the reason that I sing this way. Yes, I love this man of Galilee. Jesus came to change and set me free. January 9th, 1994. I wish you guys could see this dog. I don't know if he'll stay there when I move down my camera. That's where he stays when I won't pay attention to him. He just lays his chin right there, grabs his toy, and goes off. He is full of it. He's feeling so much better, aren't you, buddy? Yeah. Just in time to get cut open again. All right. Let me go ahead. All right. Get out of here. Yeah, me too, Elizabeth. Nancy, I am taking tirzepatide. Or will be, I should say. Oh, good, Jennifer. I'm glad to hear that. Pam said her appointment went really well. She listened to all my concerns and treated me like a person that knows what is going on in my body. She was really nice and is ready to figure out what is going on in my body. That's awesome, Pam. Sheila saw the infectious disease specialist for Hannah, and he said it is not being caused by a fungus, but he doesn't know what it is. Oh my goodness. She doesn't have strep, does she? I mean, I would think they would know that by now. That's crazy. What's the hardest in my mind is that Moses' sin that caused this was his frustration with the people for not trusting. Yeah, I know. Right? He got frustrated with their complaining and murmuring. That's an interesting perspective because we call it righteous anger when we're angry at the people around us for what's going on in our world. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be angry about it, but at the same time, that's interesting. Those people were doing what is going on in the world today, idol worship and sexual deviation and murmuring and complaining and all of that stuff. And yet, yeah, my head's going spinning. He's insane, that dog. Oh, Polly. I am so excited. I've heard so many people talking about tirzepatide and how it's changed their lives with inflammation and stuff. And I'm so excited to see. That's what I'm most excited about. I've had people tell me how it's going to change my aches and pains. Well, I should not feel the way I feel at 45. I hurt all the time. My inflammation markers, like a healthy inflammation marker is 0.3 to 1, and mine is a 12. I hurt all the time. I have for years, and I've been to rheumatologists and all these doctors, and the response is the same every time. Huh. Healthy eating has changed a lot of it. I'm mildly better inflammation wise than I was, but I still struggle. I wake up every morning and can hardly bend my hands, and they hurt, like my joints hurt to touch. So, oh man, Jennifer, you guys are going down like a sweet muffin. One right after the other with strep. It's everywhere right now. All right, my friends, enough of my chatter. I've been talking too long. Let's go ahead and pray. Father God, thank you so much for this day that you've given us, this opportunity to come before you. Thank you for the reminder in your word today of your expectations of us. And sometimes they're hard to understand. They're hard to hear. They're hard to understand. They're hard to abide by. And I'm so grateful for my Redeemer, for Christ, for his sacrifice for us that covers our sin and doesn't allow us to blatantly sin, but covers us with your mercy and your grace, God. And I'm just so grateful for that. God, I thank you for each person here today. I continue to pray for this hand that will not heal and the doctors that do not know what is causing it, God. And I just pray for wisdom there for the healthcare professionals she's working with to finally figure out what is going on. We praise you for the good outcomes for Pam's doctor's appointment and for Jennifer's dad. And God, we also pray for Shayna, as she now has strep throat. And I just pray for your healing there and to stop that infection from spreading any further. And God, we just glorify you today. Thank you for the mercy that you show us. Even though we go through trials and struggles with health and our weight and our just so many different things, you are sovereign and we can trust in you and we can put our faith in you. And I thank you, God, for that reminder today that when we return to you, you show us mercy and you love us despite the way we disobey you. I just thank you for those promises again today. God, I pray as we go through our day, you will help us to honor you with everything that we say in our community, around our friends, around our family, around strangers, that we will be a picture of Christ wherever we go. In your precious name I pray. Amen. All right, my friends. Thank you. Where do I hurt, Lois? Pretty much everywhere. My joints. Oh, my Lord, have mercy, Sebastian. My joints. Like, it hurts to go up and down the stairs. My hips hurt. When I lay on my side in bed, my hips hurt. My knees hurt. My ankles hurt. It's just very frustrating, and it doesn't seem to matter what I do. The only thing that will help me is if I'm having a really bad day where I hurt really bad is 800 ibuprofen, which is an inflammation reducer. And so that will help temporarily. But I have struggled with this for years. I can remember being a teenager and wondering why I hurt the way I did. I just always ache. It's been as long as I can remember. And I've been to rheumatologists. I've had tons of testing. There's been never, like, for a while, they were checking me for lupus. They've checked me for all these autoimmune. I have cut out dairy. I have cut out gluten. I have done all the things. I've cut out nightshades. I've done everything. Nothing ever seems to impact it. I do feel better without sugar than I did with, but I'm still not pain-free. Like, if I get down on the floor, I can hardly get back up. And it's not a matter of my weight or I just hurt all over. It's a normal part of my day. I typically wake up and take ibuprofen because I'm hurting. It's just a normal part of my day. And it's been that way as long as I can remember. So again, sugar was a big culprit, and it has gotten a little better than it was when I definitely feel better at the weight I'm at than when I was at my heaviest. I feel better, but it's a different pain. The pain from being heavy, the pressure on the joints is different than this kind of pain. This is an inside the bones kind of pain. The doctor always asks me what it feels like, and I say it's like inside my joints, the outsides are tender to the touch, but it's inside. They hurt. So anyway, I'm really hoping that the tirzepatide will help me with that, because I would just love to. I don't care if I stay the weight I am. Well, I take that back. I do care. But if I could lose all my inflammation and feel like $1 million, then I wouldn't care as much. So. Oh, Dan, I'm so glad you tried them. Are they not so good? I love those cashew bars. I love those. And I made them once with pecans instead of cashews. They were really good that way too. So you can swap out the nuts. If you're a walnut lover, I'm not, but you could do it with walnuts. They're really, really, really good. All right, my friends, I love you so much. I'm not going to be live for breakfast this morning. I have a lot on my plate to get done today. And I'm just going to, I have some cornbread bake that I made this week that I'm eventually going to get the recipe out on, that I have in my fridge, and I'm going to go ahead and just warm that up for breakfast. So I won't be live this morning, but I will be back tomorrow for breakfast. I love you all. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.